Hi, welcome back to Finally Revealed. In this episode, I want to talk about where do you live? This has come up to me in questions on a wide variety of things, and I thought it was worthwhile to address it. And here I'm talking about where you physically live for legal purposes, where you reside, what is your home, what is your residence. And here are some of the things, some of the ways in which it matters where you live. Homestead rights. There are certain states where you have extra protection, homestead rights, even money payments that you get, you are exempt from certain other payments. Generally, a homestead is an owner-occupied place that is attached to real estate. Vehicle licensing, where your cars have to be licensed, depends on where you live. Voting, where you can vote, where you can register to vote. Jury duty, that's a big topic, where you can be called for jury duty. Taxes, bankruptcy protection, where you file a divorce. If you're being sued, where they can serve you or serve another person for you, that's even more important. When you take out a mortgage loan, some government benefits it matters where you live. Child custody arrangements, where do you live? And crimes such as burglary depend upon whether or not that is where someone lives, and where you're married, and whether that's legal, and where you create a will and whether that's legal. So it applies in lots and lots of different ways. Sometimes the definition is a little bit different, so I'm going to go over, 3 or 4 that I found that are general that should be able to help you. But I want you to think about these things, because when you're a kid and you go away to college, where do you live? Where do you register to vote? If you're in between places, where do you live? Do you live at the last one or do you live at the next one? Those types of things. Where you live, is it a real place? Is it a residential hotel? What about a homeless shelter? So some of those things come into place, and these definitions should help you. Courts have actually defined what a permanent or a residence is, and they have gone to the dictionary in some cases, and here is one of the definitions that has been applied. Your residence or your dwelling is where you reside, okay? And they say a temporary or permanent dwelling place. So that's not talking about whether you're going to stay there permanently or stay there temporarily, but the actual structure is either temporary or permanent. Abode or habitation to which one intends to return, as distinguished from the place of temporary sojourn or transient visit. Where do you attend? If you are visiting your grandmother in Pennsylvania and somebody comes by and says, oh, you're living there, you're staying there for the weekend, for the holidays, for summer vacation, but you live in Ohio. And so that's the distinction. Grandma may live in a brick house. You may live in Ohio in a trailer, but it's where do you intend to live? You didn't go to grandma's house to move there. You went there to visit her. So it's not the structure that determines it. It's where you are and where you permanently are, where you intend to be, not where you happen to be at the moment. For example, there are fair housing discrimination cases, and a court ruled that a motel that is not a residence, that is not a permanent residence. However, a homeless shelter could be considered a residence for a homeless person. They don't have anywhere else to go, and they're there day after day with no immediate intention to go somewhere else. They can't go back usually to where they used to live. It's owned by someone else. They were evicted. It burned down. Something happened. In New Mexico, in a burglary case, what was a person's residence, and they got pretty particular. They said A residence, a permanent residence does include rooms that are attached but not internally connected. So maybe there is a structure and there's a garage, but it's attached to the house, but there's not a connecting door, so you have to get from the garage to the house around the front or around the back. So there's no internal connection, but it's attached. And they said it does not include an uninhabited, unconnected room, such as a shed or a detached garage or some other outbuilding, a barn. And so where the crime was committed in any of these other places did not allow it to be, or did allow it to be, considered burglary, depending upon what was the residence. So you see how that applies. And then finally, in bankruptcy court, a principal residence was defined as where there was a residential structure, and that included incidental property without regard to whether the structure, if used as a principal residence, is attached to real property or not, such as a manufactured home or a mobile home. So the land part was not crucial in bankruptcy. And some places you are living in a mobile home and it's not, you could drive it away, but you've been there for 4 years and you own the piece of property that it's on. So there are other factors that way. So those are just some of the definitions on where you live. So when you go to apply for benefits or when you go to do certain things, keep that in mind and don't treat it casually. There are some situations where someone else may assert that you live there, and really it's up to your intention and the objective factors. So I hope this was helpful. Give me a thumbs up if you learned something. Leave any comments or questions below. Subscribe to see the other videos. Share this with anyone who may be considering a move or might be interested. I will put the link below for the recommendations I have for when you do move residence and things that you need to do at your new place. And please subscribe. Thanks to everyone who has so far, and come back and see me next time. Thanks for watching.